What if I told you that just feeling a little off could spiral into a full-blown, life-threatening emergency in less than a day? It sounds extreme, but for millions of people with diabetes, it's a terrifying reality. We're talking about diabetic ketoacidosis, or DKA. It's a condition that can kill with shocking speed. But here's the good news. It's absolutely preventable, if you know what to look for. I want you to really think about that question. You feel sick, maybe a little nauseous, kind of like the flu. But what if that feeling was actually the start of a countdown? A metabolic ticking clock that could turn deadly in just 24 hours. You see, for anyone living with diabetes, especially type 1, this isn't some far-off hypothetical. It's a very real and present danger. So think of this explainer as your life-saving guide. We're going to break down exactly what DKA is, how to spot the absolute earliest warning signs, and the immediate steps you need to take to stop it cold. Okay, so let's get right into it. To really understand the danger here, we've got to look at what's happening inside the body when DKA kicks in. Because this isn't just a small problem. This is the body's ultimate red alert. So the textbook definition is right there. A metabolic emergency where a lack of insulin makes your blood acidic. But what does that actually mean? Let's forget the jargon for a second and talk about what's happening to your cells. I want you to picture this because it's the perfect analogy. Your bloodstream is flooded with sugar, just swimming in it. But your cells, they can't get to any of it. Insulin is the key that unlocks your cells to let that sugar in for energy. And without that key, your cells are literally starving to death, even though they're surrounded by the very fuel they need. It happens in 4 critical steps. First, like we said, no insulin key means glucose is locked out and just piles up in your blood. Step 2, your body starts to panic. It's desperate for fuel, so it hits the emergency button and starts burning fat like crazy. Third, and this is the real problem, burning all that fat creates a toxic byproduct called ketones. And finally, step 4, these ketones are acidic. They flood your bloodstream so fast that your body can't clear them out. Your blood literally becomes acidic, and that acid starts shutting down your vital organs. Now, what's really terrifying about this is the speed. I mean, just look at this timeline. This whole crisis can be triggered by something as simple as a missed insulin shot or getting the flu. Within just 12 hours, you're already feeling the symptoms. And by the 24-hour mark, you could be in a life-threatening state. The window to act is just incredibly small. So when you get to the ER, doctors are looking for this specific, dangerous trio. First, hyperglycemia, really high blood sugar. Second, ketosis, a big buildup of those ketones we just talked about. And third, acidosis, a blood pH below 7.3, which means the blood has turned acidic. It's that toxic combination that defines this emergency. Okay, understanding the science is one thing, but knowing the symptoms? That's what's going to save your life. So let's walk through how this thing builds, from the first subtle yellow flags all the way to a full-blown lights and sirens emergency. These right here, these are the first whispers of trouble. You might feel insanely thirsty or notice you're running to the bathroom constantly. That's your body trying desperately to flush out all that extra sugar and the ketones. If you test your blood sugar and check for ketones and see they're high, this is the moment to act. This is your golden opportunity to stop the crisis before it really begins. If those early signs get missed, the body goes into a much deeper crisis. You'll start to feel nauseous, maybe start vomiting, and get bad abdominal pain. And that deep, rapid breathing on the list, it's called Kussmaul breathing. That's your body's frantic, last-ditch attempt to literally blow off the acid as carbon dioxide. At this point, you need urgent medical help. Now, this is one of the most unique and critical signs of DKA. Those ketones can actually be exhaled, and they give the breath this weirdly sweet, fruity smell. Some people say it's like nail polish remover. If you're with someone with diabetes who seems unwell and you notice that smell, that's a massive red flag. Treat it seriously. This is the final stage. The acidosis, the acid in the blood, is now affecting the brain. This is where you see confusion, extreme drowsiness, and eventually loss of consciousness. If you see any of these signs, there's no time to wait. You don't wonder, you don't hesitate, you call 911 immediately. So what actually kicks off this horrible cascade? Well, as you can see, the biggest trigger by far is a missed insulin dose. But being sick is a really close second, because your body needs way more insulin when it's fighting an infection. And what's really tragic is that for about a quarter of people, a DKA episode is the very first sign they even have type 1 diabetes. Okay, we've talked about the what and the why. Now, for the most important part of this whole thing, what you need to do. This is your emergency action plan. Your very first alarm bell is this number. If your glucose meter reads over 250, especially if it stays that high after you've tried to correct it, that's your signal. Your immediate next step, without a doubt, has to be checking for ketones. This chart right here, this is your playbook. Seriously. If your ketones are low, you can probably manage at home with some extra insulin and a lot of water. If they're in that moderate range, you need to follow your sick day plan and call your doctor. But, and this is critical, if your blood ketones are above 1.5, that is a dangerous level. You need to get to an emergency room right away. No excuses, no waiting. And what you don't do is just as important. First, do not wait and see if you'll feel better. Time is your enemy here. Second, do not exercise. That can actually make your body produce ketones even faster. And crucially, whatever you do, do not skip your insulin, even if you feel sick and you can't eat. Remember, a lack of insulin is what started this whole mess. You know, at the end of the day, the best way to deal with DKA is to never have to deal with it at all. So let's get to the final and I think the most empowering part of this, prevention. This is your prevention checklist. It's all about being consistent and being prepared. Never, ever skipping insulin. Having a clear, written sick day plan from your doctor before you ever get sick. Making sure you always have ketone test strips at home that aren't expired. And maybe most importantly, educating the people around you, your family, your friends, so they can be your backup. And you know, in this day and age, technology can be an incredible ally. Modern tracking tools can really act as a vital early warning system. Things like setting high glucose alerts, having a place to log your ketone readings, and even using AI to spot weird patterns, all of that can empower you to catch a problem long before it ever becomes a crisis. So, if you take away one thing from all of this, let it be this. Preparation prevents crisis. Yes, DKA is a terrifying possibility, but it's also predictable and, most importantly, it is preventable. Know the signs, have your plan ready to go, and please, share this information. And that really leads us to our final thought. This knowledge is only powerful if it's shared. Do the people you live with, the people you work with, do they know what to look for? Sharing this explainer with them, it could literally save a life. And finally, of course, we have to end with this very important disclaimer. This is all for educational purposes. DKA is a true medical emergency. If you or anyone you know is showing symptoms, please do not hesitate. Call your local emergency number or get to the nearest hospital immediately. Thank you for watching.